let's stay in the college football realm. We've got the playoff is set. I think the committee got it right. Uh, Michigan, TCU in the Fiesta Bowl, Georgia, Ohio State in the Peach Bowl. Alabama was left out. I mean, you can argue all day at some point with it only being four teams. I think one team's always going to feel like they got left out, but I think they got it right. We're going to see what happens. We'll preview that as the week of the games. Conference championship, there wasn't a whole lot of good games. Michigan won a very workman-like game against Purdue. It wasn't the explosive plays that they had against Ohio State, but 43-22, 13-0, the first 13-win season in school history, which is awesome to see. And they're back in the playoff, back-to-back Big Ten champs. I have not heard anything from any fan bases about if Michigan can find Indy on a map. Seems like they're getting there just fine. But I think the one game that was conference championship game that was exciting was the Pac-12 or the Big 12 game, which, as you guys can see, I am rocking a K-State crew neck, 31-28. Our former Bison coach Chris Kleiman was got his first conference championship, and it was a very much a well-deserved championship for him. There were a lot of people that were not happy with the hiring when he was hired back in 2018. A lot of them wanted the North Texas coach, who was just fired over the weekend. So
how ironic.
Some vindication there for Gene Taylor, Ethan's old boss. And other than that, there's really not a whole lot other than this game. I don't think we really have to discuss a lot of the conference championship games because they were all kind of went as chalk and were blowouts. So I think the biggest thing for Kansas State was they were able to force three turnovers. The biggest thing is if we get into a real schematic X's and O's standpoint, I thought Kansas State did a really good job of winning on first and second down, getting Max Duggan to those obvious passing downs. He made some plays, and that's what when you're a Heisman candidate, you're gonna that play that got him into the red zone with right at the end of regulation to tie the game up was an incredible play by him. And thought he was going to need oxygen, but he didn't. But I think the biggest thing with the Kansas State for TCU on their end was the play calling when they had it at third and fourth and 1 inch, where they both times they gave it to the running back when the obvious play is, I don't know if Sonny Dykes just overthought it, where tried to give it to the running back, where the most easy logical play and probably the toughest play to defend is the QB sneak, and they didn't do it.
Well, Dylan, like what Jason Kelsey and Jalen Hurts say in Philadelphia, the QB sneak works 92% of the time, and it's the easiest play in football. Now, since you can essentially have a rugby scrum and you got guys pushing from behind, just get it to your big quarterback and let him get an itch. I mean, if you can't get it once, that's okay, but you got another shot on fourth down. So 92% of the time, just QB sneak it, easy touchdown.
Yeah. And then TCU, it didn't affect them at all. I didn't think it should. They got into. Ethan, did you have TCU in the playoff to start the year? I feel like you did.
I might have. No, I had Baylor instead.
You had Baylor. Okay.
Yeah,
you got TCU in the Final Four. That's right.
Bingo. But I'll say they're in my Final Four for football now, so I mean it counts. It's the same thing.
If they don't get it in basketball, they got it in football. There.
Yep.
Yeah, he said TCU was in the Final Four.
Like a politician.
Bam.
But yeah, I was just very happy for Chris Kleiman. Just an overall good dude, tremendous coach. Had some ups and downs, and from what I've understood is he took over at a job that sounds like it wasn't as sunshine and rainbows, and it wasn't the glorious exit for Bill Snyder that it was portrayed. It sounds like there was a lot of turmoil in the athletic department with it, and he was able to right the ship, turn things around. He had a couple of big wins his first year, and they just kept that progressively building, and it's led to this, and now they get a date with Alabama, and For me, I think the one story that I have with Chris Kleiman, and it's helped shape the way I coach, is this was in 2015. It was Carson's senior year. He was out with his broken wrist. They just beat Richmond in the semifinals to go back to Frisco for a fifth straight year. And he talked about how Richmond's coach, he was listening to their press conference, and the guy was referring it to as my football team. This is my football team. I'm very proud of my football team. I'm happy for my I'm proud of my players. Me, my. And Kleiman talked about it. He's like, I just listened to their coach, and he talked about it was my football team, my players. And I don't think he meant anything by it, but guys, you'll never hear me say, this is my football team. This is our football team. We are a family. This is a brotherhood. And when it's not just my success, because I'm not the reason you guys are winning games. It's you guys. It's our success. It is not my success. And I think that was just kind of the way he coached. And I think that's the way he is where he's just such a player's coach. He is happy for him. And he make sure they know that, and they've bought in. And you can see, I'll see it every once in a while on Twitter, the post-game locker room, just the way the players react to them and how much love they have for him as a coach.
Well, and I think it just shows about, Dylan, like you're getting at how good of a person he is. A husband, a dad, a son, a nephew, a neighbor, a coworker. He's just a good guy, and you need people like that. And the best part is some of the lessons he's teaching these young men. If they spend 2 years in Manhattan, Kansas, or if they spend 6 with the COVID years, the lessons he'll teach them, so when they grow up and they have success with their families, their jobs, new businesses, whatever it is, it's not, hey, look at my business. It's look what we did as a team. Look what we can accomplish together. And, doesn't Kansas State on the back of their helmets, don't they have, doesn't it say family?
Probably. It might.
On there, I thought I saw for the longest time, or maybe they held up like, a piece of wood, and it's painted white with purple that says family on there. I could be wrong, but I thought I saw that. And if that's the case, it just fits the culture that Kansas State has. And, Gene made a great hire, and he saw who he was as a person in Fargo, North Dakota State. And he said, you know what, we're going to bring him down here to Kansas. It's not going to be the popular hire, but it's going to be the right hire.
Well, and Gene, that's not the first controversial hire he's made where it's paid off either. But I'll tell that story when you're done, Grant.
And just now for them, like you said, to get a chance to play Alabama and get that 11th win on the year. I mean, that's big. If you beat Alabama, you get that 11th win. Kansas State, they'll finish the year top 7,
top 5,
yeah.
top 8. I mean, that's huge, for that program. And in the world of transfer portals and NIL stuff, Kansas State is doing it their way, and it's the way it should be done. And you kind of wish that more coaches would get the credit in the media that they deserve when they do it this way.
Yeah, and the story is back when he was the athletic director at NDSU, and Bob Babich left for the NFL. The D coordinator on that staff was Gus Bradley. And the job came down to Craig Bohl and Gus Bradley. And Gene ended up going with Craig. And it was very, very contentious that Gus thought he should have gotten the job, being that he was the D coordinator. Very successful defense. He's had an incredible coaching career. And they met at some restaurant in downtown. Craig and Gus met at a restaurant in downtown Fargo. Craig told him what he wanted to do and the vision he saw for NDSU. Gus bought in and he stayed on, and it laid the groundwork because those first few years they weren't eligible because of the transition period, but laid the foundation because Gus put his ego and pride aside, which is as bison as it can get, sacrificed and did what he did that was for the betterment of the kids and the program, and the program is where it is today.
Where did Bull come from again?
He was the fired
D2.
defensive. No, he was the fired defensive coordinator at Nebraska.
Okay.
Because did he play his college ball at Nebraska?
Yep, he was a walk on there.
Right.
And then yeah, he was a whole. He got, I think, when Osborne retired and Frank Solich got the job. He was the D coordinator. Then they fired him the year before they fired Frank Solich, and Ball goes to NDSU, and
the rest is history.
the rest is history.
Because that he would have won a title in the '90s with Nebraska, correct? Coaching that defense.
I believe so, yeah, because he was there for quite a while.
Okay.
Let's see here, but I guess